All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to explore a truly fascinating dynamic that's happening inside your body literally every single day. We're talking about the intersection of nutrition and mental well-being, a concept we're calling the Alimentary Architect, building a resilient mind. You know, if you've ever wondered why you feel the way you feel, well, the answer might just be sitting right there on your plate.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. Can food actually change your mood? Just think back to your very last meal. How did you feel, say an hour later? Were you super energized, ready to tackle a complex project? Or did you just hit that massive wall of brain fog and irritability? See, we often think of our brain as the CEO of our body, right? Like it's completely independent. But in reality, our stomachs are secretly the master architects here, quietly pulling our emotional strings, totally behind the scenes.
And that brings us to this incredibly direct but powerful quote from our source material. Healthy foods help our brains work well and make us feel good. I mean, it sounds simple, right? Almost like something your grandmother would tell you. But the absolutely crucial point here is that this isn't just some old saying. It is a documented biological reality. The research we're looking at today actually proves that what we ingest fundamentally dictates our cognitive output and our emotional stability.
So here is our architectural blueprint for today's Explainer. 1. The brain and gut connection. 2. Meet your nutritional superheroes. 3. Building blocks of resilience. 4. Fueling focus and positive moods. And 5. Designing your balanced plate. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The brain and gut connection.
You know, for the longest time, science treated the digestive system and the brain as two totally separate entities. But to understand the invisible link between them, we need to define our core framework for today, the Alimentary Architect. Now, this is the concept that our optimal nutrition and dietary choices act as foundational building blocks to construct and fuel a resilient mind and a healthy digestive system. I just absolutely love this metaphor. I mean, think of yourself as an architect. You wouldn't try to build a skyscraper out of wet cardboard, right? Well, in the exact same way, the food you eat acts as the literal bricks and mortar for your psychological state. You are quite literally building your mind with every single bite you take.
Section 2. Meet your nutritional superheroes.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that if your diet is a construction site, you need a highly skilled crew to get the job done. And notice how perfectly these specific nutrients map out to their cognitive superpowers. Just look at zinc and iron. The source material explicitly states that these are a biological necessity for brain health. Think of them as the crucial steel beams of our mental architecture. Then, you've got potassium swooping in for vital brain and mood support. And of course, our heavy lifters, whole grains and lean proteins. They're superpower, enhancing your focus and emotional state. So these aren't just empty calories, they're active agents working around the clock to fortify your brain.
Moving right along to Section 3, Building Blocks of Resilience.
Okay, so we know who the heroes are, but how do they actually operate on the job site? Let's map out this hero's journey step by step. Step 1, you ingest nutrient-dense foods. You actually make that conscious choice. Step 2, well, this is where the magic happens. The source text visualizes this brilliantly. These nutritional superheroes literally fly through your digestive system, deploying straight into the brain and gut to save your cognitive functions from sluggishness and fatigue. And the result of all that? Step 3, your internal system basically glows with health and happiness. The nutrients have successfully repaired those cellular structures, leading to a vibrant, fully functioning mental state.
Section 4. Fueling focus and positive moods. We've talked a lot about biology and metaphors so far, but let's shift gears to the tangible benefits you feel when you're, say, sitting in a classroom or grinding away at work. Let's break down this comparison because it connects so directly to your everyday life. On one side, we have a well-fueled mind. So what does that actually look like? Well, the source tells us it's energetic, it focuses well, and crucially, it maintains a positive outlook. But on the other side, we see the alternative, a mind without optimal nutrition. And this state is quite literally missing the biological necessities required for emotional and brain health. Without those steel beams of iron and zinc we talked about, without the steady energy of whole grains, the architecture just sags. That dreaded brain fog rolls in. The contrast is honestly pretty stark.
And all of that allows us to confidently say, superfoods for a super mood. I really want to emphasize this direct link here. A balanced diet literally fosters a positive outlook. This kind of shifts our entire perspective on eating, doesn't it? Food is no longer just something to silence a grumbling stomach. It's an active, reliable, mood-enhancing tool that you have total control over.
And finally, Section 5, Designing Your Balanced Plate.
So how do we actually put this all into practice? Well, notice the 4 equal pillars here: fruits, vegetables,
whole grains, and lean proteins. And this brilliantly illustrates your daily schematic. This is the absolute perfect blueprint for optimal nutrition to fuel both your mind and your gut. It's really not about complex fad diets. It's just about returning to these 4 foundational pillars to ensure those nutritional superheroes are always on duty.
To quickly summarize our blueprint, just keep these 3 points in mind every time you sit down to eat. First, prioritize nutrient-dense items. Don't build your house with cheap materials. Second, intentionally include those essential minerals we highlighted earlier: zinc, iron, and potassium. And third, always remember the core philosophy here. You are building a resilient mind with every single meal.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty vital question to ponder. Now that you know your food builds your mood, what kind of architect will you be today? Every meal is an opportunity to construct a sharper, more focused, and honestly happier version of yourself. The materials are right there in front of you. So go build something great.